Let me ask you a question. How many no's would it take before you gave up on your dream? 3, 10, 50. Now imagine you're 11 years old. You're standing on Music Row in Nashville, the heart of country music. In your hands are homemade demo CDs. You walk into one record label. No. You try another. Not interested. Another. We'll pass. Most children would have gone home believing they weren't good enough. But one little girl didn't. Her name was Taylor Swift. People often say Taylor Swift succeeded because she's talented. Talent certainly helped. But talent may open the first door, consistency builds the career. As a young girl growing up in Pennsylvania, Taylor fell in love with country music. Instead of waiting to be discovered, she spent her time writing songs and performing at local fairs, festivals, and community events. Not because thousands were watching, but because every performance made her a little better. Here's something worth remembering. The audience didn't make Taylor great. Practice did. When she was 11, Taylor and her mother traveled to Nashville, handing demo CDs to record labels along Music Row. One after another, they were turned away before millions sang her songs. Almost no one knew her name. Success rarely starts with applause. It usually starts with silence. Eventually, her family made a bold decision to move to the Nashville area so she could pursue her dream. But even then, there was no overnight success. For years, she kept writing, she kept learning, she kept performing wherever people would listen. County fairs, festivals, small events. Each performance was another chance to improve. Because there are no small opportunities, only opportunities to become better. At just 16 years old, Taylor released her first album. People connected with her music because it felt honest. She wrote about friendship, heartbreak, growing up, dreams. She wasn't trying to sound like someone else. She sounded like herself. And that authenticity became her greatest strength. Then came one of the most difficult moments of her career. In 2009, while accepting an award on live television, another celebrity interrupted her acceptance speech. The whole world saw it. Many people remember the interruption, but what mattered wasn't what happened that night. It was what happened next. Taylor went back to writing songs. She let her work speak louder than the headlines. Years later came another challenge. Public criticism, online backlash, millions of opinions. For a while, she stepped away from the spotlight. But she didn't stop growing. She returned with new music, renewed confidence, and a new chapter in her career. Not because life became easier, but because she became stronger. Then came, perhaps, her biggest business challenge. She learned that the master recordings of her first 6 albums had been sold, and she no longer owned them. Years of work, years of memories. Many people would have moved on. Taylor made a different choice. She re-recorded those albums, song by song. Not out of revenge, but out of conviction. She believed creators should have ownership of their work. What looked like a setback became one of the greatest comebacks in modern music. Those re-recorded albums were embraced by millions of fans and sparked a global conversation about artist rights. Sometimes, your greatest comeback begins with refusing to let one setback define your future. So what can we learn from Taylor Swift's story? I'd leave you with 3 simple lessons. First, fall in love with the process. Taylor wrote songs long before anyone paid her to. Ask yourself, if nobody applauded me for the next year, would I still do this? If your answer is yes, you've probably found something worth pursuing. Second, treat rejection as redirection. Every no wasn't never. It was simply, not yet. Instead of asking, why me? Ask, what can this teach me? Finally, keep showing up. Champions aren't made on the big stage, they're made on ordinary days. motivation is low, progress feels invisible, and no one is watching. Because success is rarely one big breakthrough. It's thousands of small steps, repeated consistently. So let me leave you with one final question. What's one dream you've been putting on hold because progress feels too slow? When you leave today, take one step, write one page, make one phone call. Practice for 10 minutes, start the project. Whatever it is, just begin. Because success doesn't belong to the most talented. It belongs to those who keep showing up when others stop. And one day, people may look at your success and say, "You were lucky." But you'll know the truth. It wasn't luck. It was every ordinary day you chose not to give up. Keep showing up.